In this video, I'm going to show you how to either laser cut this or mill this out. So first thing we have to do is actually pick out an actual pattern that we want to cut, right? So this one's at 530 right now. The one I built is 800. Okay, 800 is a little longer, like kind of extra long. An average size might be like 650. Okay, that's gonna actually look like a regular longboard here. Now I chose 530 because it fits on the what is that called? The Shapeoko 3XL, kind of a popular CNC milling machine. So if I were to click this point to this point, it's 821 millimeters. Okay, so the Shapeoko is 33 inches, which is 838 millimeters. So it will just barely fit on that. It won't barely fit. It'll fit just fine. It'll just have a little bit of extra room there. Okay, so we're going to take this 530 and show you how to play with that. So what I can do here is I can either take this to the laser or I can take it to the mill. So I'm going to start with the laser here. So I'm going to right click, export as a DXF, right? And then I'll call it LB 530. Let's see, with cutouts. Okay, LB 530 with cutouts. So that means it's a longboard, 530 millimeters, and it's got the cutout options. Okay. So then I can go over to Lightburn here, or whatever laser program you have, and bring that DXF in there. So here's a DXF, and there we go. Now there's something wrong with this right here. Okay. So this one doesn't have the wheel mounts for this. So I'll show you how to fix that real fast here. That's my bad, actually. Wasn't even thinking here. So delete this. See, let's go back to our design here. So up top, this is the surface we're cutting out, right? Which is missing all this stuff in here. But if you pull from the bottom, right click, export as DXF. So LB 350 with cutouts for reels. Okay. Call that good. Okay. And then we're going to go back to Lightburn here, open up our downloads, and drag that in. All right. Now we got wheel mounts or truck mounts. Okay. So with that, now we just, line it up. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to group this. Group this together. Let's see, cut from the bottom here. Let's go to our cuts. So I can either cut this out of wood or acrylic on my laser and call it good. I could also cut it out of a cheap wood and follow it with a router bit. Like, I can cut this out of, 1/8 inch, God, what's that stuff called? Birch. 1/8 inch birch. And then screw it in with these holes. I could screw it into a piece of polycarbonate, piece of thick wood, whatever, and then use one of these reverse bearing tools, like one of these or one of these, and just follow it with a router, route it out manually. Or I could just, laser cut it. I could laser cut it out of thick acrylic or thick wood and start mounting things. Okay, so that's the laser process, right? The other way to make this thing is to mill it out on a CNC mill. Okay, so how to do that is, you get your size, you get your cutouts or not, like if you want cutouts or no cutouts or cutouts, right? I'm going to right click and just hit export. Not export as DXF, just plain export. And I'll call this LB 350 with cutouts. I guess it's 530. Whoops. My bad. Whatever. Sticking to it. Okay, then we go to Kirimoto here. Oh, I guess I already did this. Let's go to arrange. Delete this. Okay. So, one of the coolest websites out there, you go to grid.space/Kiri. Okay. You don't need an account. You don't need anything. You don't need to have ever used it or signed up for it at all. And it might take a little while to load the first time, so be patient with it. But go to grid.space/Kiri. What we're going to do is we're not going to be lasering. We're not going to be 3D printing. We're not going to be resin printing. We're going to be CNC milling. So I'm going to click on the CNC here. Now you might have one of these CNCs already. The one we have downstairs, this is the size for it, so I'm going to leave it here and hit save. Okay, one more thing I'm going to add. So tools. I have a 3/16 inch tool. So I called it my end mill 3/16. The type is an end, right? You give it a tool number if you want. Shaft diameter, length, right? And then the flute diameter. This is the important part. And the length of the flute, right? So this is where it's 3/16, 0.1875. And then I hit save, and now it's saved in my tool lists. Okay? So I got my machine set up. I got my tool set up. Now you don't need to use a 3/16. You can use a 1/8 bit if you want, but it's just going to take longer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is import, and we're going to go to LB350, right? Instead of 530, my bad. With this STL file. And there it is. There's our longboard. I'm going to rotate mine, though. There we go. Okay. And then, let's see, what do we need to do? So we need to add, I guess, let's see, delete these, start from scratch here. Okay. So we need to add some programs, some process, some paths to this, right? So plus, and I want to add a rough. I want to rough out all these centerpieces here, okay? And all the holes. So I'm going to use an N6 or 3/16 end mill. Right, 0.85 is fine for my step over. That's a fine step down, 1.5 millimeters. 1200 millimeters a minute is perfect. Okay, and leave zero stock, right? Don't leave anything. Like, just call the roughing good. Right? And we're going to clear the void. So this is a void right here, right? We're going to clear it out. I could just outline it to get rid of it, but sometimes the mill catches it and it'll break the mill. It'll shoot out the part. I'm just going to clear it all out. Doesn't take much longer to clear it. It's a little safer too. Makes it a little more of a mess, but it's safer that way. I don't want to clear the faces, so I don't want it to like go over the top and like clear everything off either. Let's see. Don't want to clear the top. I guess faces would be the edges here. But yeah, don't want to clear the top, and I want to do inside only. The outside will be a different function here. So starts with roughing, right? And then we'll go to the plus here, and we'll hit outline. Okay, outline, 3/16 inch tool. Step downs 1 millimeter at a time because it has to do a full tool width every time it cuts. I can go a little faster though because it's not as deep. I like to plunge nice and slow, and I'm going to do outside only. Okay, so let's take a look at what this is going to look like. Okay, so went to set up my machine, my tool. I hit the plus a few times, added a couple processes here. Okay, now I'm going to go to start and hit preview. And it's going to start slicing it and figuring out tool paths. Really, Kiri Motor is just a slicer, but it has a laser cut function built in. It has 3D printer functions built in. It has milling functions built in. But Kirimoto in its core program is a slicer. Okay, so it looks like we actually have everything in there, right? So let's drag our progress bar. So it starts over there, grabbing all these little holes in some weird order, whatever. Okay. Oh, then it starts digging that out, right? Digging all that. Then it starts digging the one on the right. And then it starts doing the outlines. There we go. Cool. And that's exactly what we need. So now we go to start and export. And I'm going to call this, let's see, what do we use? 3/16. So, oh man, I forget that, what it's called there. Okay. 3 divided by 16 is 0.1875. Okay. So, whoops. Okay, go back to export. So this is an LB longboard 530 with cutout 1875. Okay, and download. And now I open up my favorite G-code sender, which just works on Mach 3 or any Gerbil sender. All right. So Mach 3, even if you don't have a tool changer, it'll show that it's trying to do tools. Let's see. Let's open this up and go to our downloads. Oh, there it is actually. And here's our program ready to cut. It's going to take about 41 minutes, it looks like. So not too long to cut this out. Cool. Well, depending on your machine, right? You might have different accelerations and stuff. But according to my math, it's going to take about 41 minutes. So that's how to, CNC mill it, how we laser cut it, right? Hopefully this gets you that flat piece. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck. And if you have any questions, make sure to ask.